Okay, we're in beautiful St. Kitts. We're doing a series of tapes on the steps to getting out of your home country and relinquishing your citizenship if you're a U.S. citizen, or just leaving that high tax country if you're in a high tax country and you want to break your tax ties with that, and what to do. So we're doing a series of tapes on this. Also, folks, if you want to learn more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. And also, don't forget to hit the subscribe button on the right of your screen. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below. Okay, the first thing I would tell you to do, too, is make sure that whatever country you pick allows dual citizenship. I've mentioned this many times. Folks, you don't want to go with a country that makes you give up all your other passports. I'll tell you why. If you get into a problem in that country, then you're stuck, man. You can't go anywhere. You can't get out of that country. You can't travel. All they can do is cancel your passport or choose not to renew it. Don't ever go with a country that does not allow dual citizenship. And I'll tell you something else too. I've mentioned this several times before. Don't go with a country that doesn't allow dual citizenship and then tell them that you're going to give up that other passport. Oh man, I ran into all kinds of problems. I had a friend of mine that he did this in Panama. He actually was a lawyer there, and he couldn't practice law in Panama because he wasn't Panamanian. And you have to be Panamanian. You have to be a Panamanian citizen to practice law there locally. He had his license to practice law in the U.S., but he had left the U.S. and been down the Panama Canal for years. And what happened was he went in and mentioned to the Panama authorities that he wanted to relinquish his U.S. citizenship and go with a Panamanian passport. So what happened was but he had no intentions of relinquishing U.S. citizenship. He had no idea the ramifications of it. And what happened was he went through and he signed papers that ended up back in the U.S. And when he went to the U.S., they canceled his passport, and he couldn't get across the border. It was a mess, and it took him several years to get back. He had to go through the same thing that everybody else to get that passport, and he had to go through and explain to him that he had no intentions of relinquishing. He only did it to get his Panamanian passport and citizenship there so he could practice law there. And he had no idea it was going to get back to the U.S. Of course, the U.S. gave it back to him. It didn't break any laws there in the U.S., but it was a real mess because he was able to keep his Panamanian passport, but it ended up being a mess for him. And it took a lot of money and a lot of time to get that passport back. So this is why you don't want to go with a country that does not allow dual citizenship. It's really important that you adhere to that. And just the lack of freedom from a country that doesn't want you to have another passport, like Singapore, UAE, there's tons of countries like that, Japan, that don't allow dual citizenship. But this is a key thing that you need to look at before you make a decision. And I would also tell you to pick a country that is fairly close to where you are when you make this move. Let me give you an example right here. If you're from Canada, the U.S., this is a no-brainer. I would pick some place in the Caribbean or Central America. I would definitely pick a fast-track program first. Now, of course, I like St. Kitts better because they've got more visa-free countries than any of the fast-track programs, and now they've got 161 countries visa-free or visa-free on arrival to. It's tied with Barbados as the best visa-free travel document in the whole Caribbean, not just the fast-track. We're talking about the whole Caribbean. It's ranked at number 24. So this is what I would be looking for is a country that you can, if you got children that don't want to relinquish and they're back in the U.S. or Canada and they're grown. I'm going to tell you something, especially if you're on a second marriage and you got kids from another marriage and it's the wife's children and you're taking off and leaving with her. I'm going to tell you something, man, it can cause a lot of problems in your marriage if you're way away. Like if you're from the U.S. and then you decide to move to Malaysia or Singapore or a place like this, you can cause a big rift in your marriage and literally split it up. And so this is a key thing I would tell you is try to pick a place that's fairly close to where you're coming from, especially if you got children and, either one or both of you are going to be going back and, to see those kids because it's going to make a big impact in your relationship. I can't tell you how much of a difference that can make. And Also, I will tell you something else too that a lot of people don't think about is when you make a decision, take your spouse, if you're married, with you. I see more guys say, I can make a decision without my wife. Folks, that's dumb, stupid dumb. You do stuff like that, what's going to happen is you think you can make the decisions without her, and then you make the move. She hasn't seen and heard and been educated like you have on all this mess. The next thing you know, she's filing divorce papers against you because all these problems and stuff, all these things that she can't see her kids as much, it's this, that, and the other. You're going to have all kinds of issues in your marriage if you don't get her on board early. She needs to be on board with you. She needs to go to the meetings. She needs to be at the consultations. She needs to do all of this together. I see so many people that don't think about this. It makes so much difference. Get her on board. I'll be honest with you, it's a lot easier to do this if you're single. And single with no kids is even better, okay? I'm not against marriage. I'm not against kids. I'm just telling you, when it's just you making the decision, it's a lot easier than trying to get other parties involved that maybe don't think like you do, okay? So these are things you really have to think about before you make that international move because, it can make a big difference in your relationship and everything else in your life. Also, I would look at the asset budget. That's a big key ingredient, especially if your wife's going to be involved because, she might want to spend more or even less than what you're thinking about spending, especially if this money's together with the two of you. You need to be making a decision on what, especially if you're going to Citizenship by investment program because you're putting out money up front. Now, our average client's got about $5 million and up. In fact, just about the lowest is $5 million, and then it goes up from there. We got some that have 10 million up to 100 million and more. So, that's nothing. But if you're coming in near the limit, if you're coming in with, $2 or $3 million, and a lot of that money's tied up in property, even 5 million, and it's tied up in property, you don't have that much in cash, then, you want to make a decision based on that. But I'll tell you something, if you're going with a residency by investment and you're a U.S. citizen, I think you're making a huge mistake, and 90% of the time going with residency by investment is your first option because it could take you years and years to get that passport. And meanwhile, you're paying taxes in the U.S. and having to file all those years, even if you're filing with overseas exclusion. Remember, the overseas exclusion only helps you on earned income. It does not help you on investment income, okay? So, that's... and that gives you a limit of, now it's just moved up, it's $112,000 for a husband and wife, so $224,000 that you can get that you can make tax-free, providing both of y'all are working. So this is an option you can do there. But you have to remember that foreign overseas exclusion, you got to qualify for it. It's not just there. You got to be outside the U.S. so much per year before you qualify for that. Another thing too I would tell you is one reason you want to keep your wife on board on something like this is health care. You need to pick a place that's that both of y'all can agree on as far as the health care goes. Now, that's a big issue for some people. Some people it's not so much. If you stay in good health, you don't smoke, you don't drink, and you do a lot of walking, exercise. Like my dad lived to be over 100 years old. So, and I don't smoke, I don't drink, I don't eat beef, pork. I'm kind of one of these weirdo guys. But I try to watch my health wise, and I don't. I watch everything I do. Okay, so but I also get a physical every year. So that's and the one thing is the health care in St. Kitts is okay. It's getting better as time goes on, and they're talking about putting a major hospital down here, which will help. They've got several hospitals, but I'm talking about really state of the art. And but that's one thing that you need to consider also. If you've got real bad health problems, then you might want to get citizenship in St. Kitts and maybe live in another place that has better health care, that has a territory or pure tax haven status. So you would have to look at that. If you've had triple bypass and you're constantly having heart problems, then St. Kitts might not be a place that you want to move to, but they do have cardiologists here. But I'm saying that if you want state of the art, you can get your passport here, but then live somewhere else if you've got real bad health problems. So that's something you need to think about there. All right, and also, if you're a U.S. citizen and you move overseas, this foreign overseas exclusion would pertain to you. Now, if you're from a country that's high tax, like from places like Germany, Austria, Canada, places like this, that you basically have to be outside the country so long to qualify, where you don't have to pay taxes there anymore. It's a lot easier break. You don't have to go through the relinquishment process. My suggestion to you, though, because I think it's a matter of time before Canada and these other countries come out with a citizenship taxation type tax system, kind of like the U.S. has got. It's just a matter of time. I don't think it's even 5 or 10 years off at the most. Either the EU is going to do it, Canada, Australia, they're going to start coming out with this. There's no way they're going to let these passport holders buy. So these are some things I would be looking at. Possibly, if I was that person, I would be getting out of these high tax countries and literally getting out of those passports, because when they do come out with it, I can tell you they're not going to warn you ahead of time. They're going to come out with heavy exit taxes, and if you try to barrel out, it's going to be too late to do it, and it's just a matter of time before that happens. But they always do this retroactive, where if you try to get out, they're going to get your tax money as you get out. If you're from a high tax country like Canada, Australia, Austria, other countries that are high tax, a lot of them in the EU, but they got them all over the world. My suggestion, I would not be going into countries and then getting citizenship in places like Portugal. I think it's a huge mistake. I think they're going to hit you with high exit taxes when you get out. And it's just a matter of time. These countries are bloated with money, that their debt that they're trying to get out of. And one of the easiest ways to do it is come out with a citizenship based on taxation. That way they hit all the plain brain richos if left the country that aren't paying their fair share. And that's the way they view things. So if I was you, I would be looking at territory on pure tax haven passports and getting out of these high tax countries. That's what I would be doing anyway. Now also, folks, if you're looking to find a place that you're going to move to, I wouldn't just take your wife. I would take your kids there too and get their opinion on it. I think it would be a good idea to do that. And I would definitely pick a place, like I said, that's close by to where you're living right now before you leave. And I would also pick a country that has the most visa-free countries, where you're not having to get passports everywhere. And this is one reason I like St. Kitts and Nevis. It's the quickest, 45 days. You can get it as quick as 45 days, and you got now 161 visa-free and visa-free on arrival countries and territories. I would go with the fast one with the most visa-free travel, and St. Kitts has got them all beat there, and those are the things I would be looking for. I'd also pick a country where your business can work the best. You need to take that in consideration. I see a lot of people that end up going to a place that their business is just not going to work out there. Maybe they're looking for a lot of population that's local, okay, and they don't have it there. Is your business worldwide? Are you going, all over the world? These are some things that you have to think about there. So, folks, and look forward to our other series of tapes. We're going to be going over on basically how to get out of your high tax country in steps, and either relinquish or move and get away from the system you're in right now. We've got a series of tapes that we're doing on this. And also, folks, if you want to learn more on this, go to our website, www.citizenshipquickly.com. Hit the top bar that says apply with us, fill out the questions. Hit that bottom bar that says send it to us. We deal with over 100 citizenship by investment, residency by investment countries all over the world. And folks, don't forget to hit the subscribe button to the right of your screen. You'll get new videos automatically as they come out, and that notification bell next to it. And I would like to hear from you. If you got a question or comment, just put it below, and I look forward to talking to you on the next video. Take care.